Faster than a speeding bullet.
I swear that never happens.
More powerful than a locomotive. Able to leap tall buildings in a single bound. But he can also fly, so it's a tad less impressive when you know that.
Look! Up in the sky! It's a bird!
It's a plane!
Well, I'm not looking up for any of those things.
It's Super Month!
Hello, I'm the Nostalgia Critic, and welcome back to Super Month! Why, if it isn't General Zod with the exact same hairline he always has! What's up, General Zod?
I'm here to say I won't be in this video.
Sounds good! Superman 2. Yep, the original Superman was the blueprint for a lot of superhero movies, including already planning the sequel. Superman 1 and 2 were shot back to back, but since director Richard Donner and the producers didn't get along, he was fired from Superman 2 and replaced with Richard Lester, another director who had a few big movies under his belt. This didn't seem to hurt the film any, as it was still released 2 years after the original and was still a box office smash, with Superman facing off not only against a super genius, but 3 superpowered Kryptonians. All the ingredients were there for an amazing sequel, and thankfully, too many cooks in the kitchen wasn't a problem. It's said to be one of the best superhero sequels ever, on top of arguably being the first superhero sequel. It's a ton of fun, and we're gonna take a closer look at it. Despite General Zod not being in this review, no really, his hair looked exactly the same, like a wig wouldn't be distracting at all. Let's take a look at Superman 2. I kinda like this recap where we recreate the majesty and beauty of planet Krypton with that John Williams epic music, only to end on this. It looks like the Kryptonian Home Shopping Network, doesn't it? I like too they make it look like rather than these 3 were captured and evidence was collected and it took months to develop a trial, they just commit the crime and zoinks, we're getting Judge Dredd and Scoob!
This council has no hesitation in proclaiming you guilty.
Haha, we set one of our classic trial traps, complete with pop-up Judge Judy.
You're going to find that these 3 people deserve each other. Get a life, get a job. You're gone.
While the credits aren't quite as epic as the first one, it does a good job recapping the previous film. Again, a move other superhero movies would replicate years later. Back on Earth, we see terrorists are threatening the Eiffel Tower with a hydrogen bomb, and I really love Perry preparing what story to go with. And Lois Lane is trying to cover it.
Oh, mercy. Mercy, madam. Mercy.
No, you'll be saying mercy after this.
Moi, journaliste américaine.
Not interdit.
I will say you can definitely tell which scenes were done by Lester and which ones were done by Donner. Donner is a little bit more soft focus with sweeping shots. Lester is a little more high exposure with a point and shoot mentality. The pacing's a tad different too, where Donner's flowed really smoothly and Lester seems just a tad sloppy at times. Like, these scenes in France aren't super long, but they feel like an eternity. It's an elevator! What more is there?
Look, it's me that controls the bomb, not the bomb that controls me.
I miss goofy terrorists like Cobra or Harry Potter's uncle. Superman saves the day, though, and launches the bomb into space, where, coincidentally, Zod and his team just happen to be flying by and breaks them free. Right after turning into a Disney film. How did early DC films always do that? We see Lex Luthor and Otis are still in prison, and he reveals he has a little black box that can track particular alpha waves.
Those alpha waves will take me north. Give me Superman.
And it may also lead me to a better bald cap. Seriously, Hackman, is this such a scary monster to you? Meanwhile, on the moon, our trio of baddies see they're not the only visitors.
What kind of a creature are you?
Just a man.
Oh, right, I have to remind myself the first 2 movies have a bit of a body count.
Blow, blow, bitch!
Houston calling.
What was that he said before?
Damn it, Cliff, how come whenever you're around, something always blows up?
Let's talk about the gas turbine engine for a while.
They come from there, a place called Houston.
They make their way to Earth just as Luthor makes his way out of prison.
I told you to...
I don't know how Luthor made that projector, but I do know this. Actually, no, I know nothing about how this was possible. There's gonna be a lot of cops that get paid leave. Apparently Luther and Miss Tessmacher made up, as she helps him escape, leaving Otis behind. Tell Otisburg, don't cry for me. Meanwhile, Lois and Clark are sent to Niagara Falls disguised as newlyweds to cover a story about how the bellboys are ADR'd first-time Christopher Walken impersonators.
Well, here you are. If you'd like to carry Mrs. Smith over the threshold. Is this your first visit to Honeymoon Haven? Together, anyway.
Mr. Herman, you have a telephone call at the front desk.
Have a happy whatever.
That's actually how his part was credited, a happy whatever.
Be careful!
Get down! Get down!
In one of the film's funnier moments, Lois sees Clark's glasses are wet, so she cleans them, leaving him totally exposed as Superman for a moment.
No, I've got look.
Oh my god, it's Thor!
Hey, Mom, look! Uh-huh. Yeah, honey, that's nice.
Everybody in this film acts like looking at something costs money. The little boy falls as slow as humanly possible, giving time for Superman to save him.
Way to go, Superman!
10 more minutes and he would have hit the bottom for sure. Lois finally puts together Clark is never around when Superman is, and she confronts him about it.
That every time Superman's around, you disappear.
Superman? You mean he was here?
Did he insist on more lenient child abuse laws? Meanwhile, Lex uses his black box to find Superman's home and locates a recording of his mother, similar to the recording of his father, though not quite as precise.
There appeared among us 3 rebel elements. I wish you had not asked me that.
You know, I'm beginning to think I could have taken over Krypton.
We were unable to change their evil natures, their evil ways.
She tells him about Zod and his 2 droogs, while Lois explains how certain she is that Clark is really the Caped Blue Satyr.
What's your hurry, Superman? I gotta admit, you know, your disguise is nearly perfect. You had me fooled.
I mean, the glasses. Nothing else. It's ingenious. She tosses herself in the water, expecting him to save her. She watched New Moon too. And I really do love that he doesn't save her. He instead uses his powers to throw a branch her way. I mean, hey, if it doesn't work, just spin the earth around again. See more and more why that's so dumb.
You're what I thought was Superman.
What a lot of women say 10 years into marriage. Meanwhile, the Zod Patrol lands and inspects their newest conquest.
So this is Planet Houston.
Must be a division of Planet New Texas. Well, if I'm gonna be the Messiah, I better start the water walking. I thought only Jesus and Trump could do that. These 3 really are great villains. I'm always a sucker for aliens trying to understand our world, but I think it's even funnier when the aliens are evil conquestors yet think they're being benevolent.
The son of Jor-El will be my slave. Forever.
Cannot we show them something more interesting?
I like the globe, but not this irritating noise. We have no more use for this one. Kill him.
The best way I can describe them is that they're like young YouTubers who got famous too quickly. They put in some work, but by blind luck, they fell ass backwards into power, and because they didn't fully earn it, they abuse it like hell and let their egos do most of the driving.
General Zod does not take orders. He gives them.
Who else is seeing this? The whole planet Houston? Earth. You may continue.
Here is an autographed picture of me. Of course I carry them around, and no, you didn't need to ask for one. Back in Niagara, Clark's hand accidentally gets burned, allowing Lois to once again figure out who he is.
You are Superman.
I knew this day would come. You almost let me drown, you son of a bitch!
I don't know why I did that.
Maybe you wanted to.
The scene is played about as perfect as you can imagine. Not only are both these actors incredibly believable in this moment, but I don't use this word often, it's very romantic.
We better talk.
I'm in love with you.
We really better talk.
You are literally making this scene blush. How charming are you two? Superman takes her to his home. Hey, what's this written in urine? Lex was here? While Zod and the rest make life a living hell for others.
Please, mister!
He's the general.
Please, Mr. General! Please let my daddy down!
Those everyday English kids you find in 80s Houston.
I win! I always win.
Again, YouTuber. One of us has to. Superman decides he loves Lois so much he wants to give up his powers and become mortal for her.
All your great powers on Earth will disappear forever. Once it is done, there is no return.
And when I say no return, I am lying. He steps in a crystal pod and has his powers taken away in an effect that's both my favorite and least favorite in the film. He's turning into Altered Beast, and he leaves the life of Superman behind.
You did all that for me? I don't know what to say.
I mean, I don't want to be called the Yoko Ono of superheroes, but I'm gonna be called the Yoko Ono of superheroes. So, now that Superman is mortal, what do you want to do? Wow! Okay. So I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little torn on this. I mean, Superman banged Lois in one of the PG films, no less. I'll admit, as a kid, this didn't really bother me, and I can't act like I wouldn't if I was him. But I'm not him. Superman is him. And as an adult, something about this feels odd. Like, she was the prize he could never get, that goal that was just too far away. His duty was always more important. And then, in movie 2, oh yeah. I don't know, I guess I can't say I have a huge problem with it. It just kind of feels like fan fiction. Except, you know, in fan fiction, the bed would look like this. Our evil trio break into the White House and demand our country be handed over to Zod.
I'll kneel before you if it will save lives.
It will.
I do for the sake of the people of the world.
Yes, and as the president of the world, I'm sure all the other countries will be fine with this. Lois and Clark drive from the fortress. How? Is there a rent-a-car out there? And they drop by a diner where someone is moving in on Clark's lady.
Your seat's in there, Four Eyes.
Excuse me, sir, would you care to step outside?
Clark.
I literally let a guy who pointed a gun at her go, but now I have no powers, so screw the peaceful route. Clark gets his ass kicked, though, and for the first time ever experiences pain. And again, to Reeve's credit, he really looks like a guy who, for the first time ever, is experiencing pain.
Oh, God.
Clark?
Blood. It's my blood.
No, Clark, it's just ketchup. It's not real blood. Supes also sees that the planet is taken over by Zod, who's calling him out.
Come to me, Superman! Come! Come and kneel before Zod!
He looks like a guy who would command a person named Superman to do that. Clark says he has to go back and get his powers, so Lois drives him, or he walks, and he returns home where he gives the only bad line read I think I've ever heard him give in a Superman movie.
I failed.
Father! It's almost like he wanted to surprise someone into giving his powers back. Well, I guess I'll just go home. Boo-ha! Now you have to make me Superman! But he finds the green crystal that built his home, and I guess that's enough.
Would you care to step outside?
Yeah, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense, and you might have noticed I've been really quiet about the Donner cut. You see, after Donner was fired, there's a lot of talk about what Donner's original vision was, and in 2006, they compiled what they had and released it. And I might be a minority on this, but I didn't think it was very good. It is interesting, and there are some cool things about it, but the pacing is off. It goes on way too long, and half of it doesn't make sense, including wrapping things up by having him fly the Earth backwards again! I am dead serious. In fact, it actually makes this choice even crazier. When he goes back to fight the guy in the diner who beat him up, it's done after he time traveled. So it just looks like he's picking a fight with a random dude.
Gee, that's funny. I've never seen garbage eat garbage before.
Everyone would be like,
What's wrong with it?
My first thought would be a lot.
Now, you could totally argue too many things weren't filmed or too much of the script was changed, and fair enough, but either way, the end result just isn't that good. Except for the Brando scenes. You see, Brando wanted a ridiculous amount for his likeness to be used in the sequel, even after getting paid an ass amount for the first film. So the producers cut him out of their version. And while the mother is totally fine, I can't say there's anything wrong with her, the father is the one we have the strongest connection with, and it changes a lot of the story. When he goes back, it's the father that actually sacrifices what's left of himself so that Clark can have his powers returned. It bookends everything perfectly, for as he said, the father becomes the son and his power becomes his.
Even though it will exhaust the final energy left within me.
Father, no.
This is an essential scene missing from the original film, and is the best and most crucial moment in an otherwise lackluster cut. Except for Zod firing a gun. That's just the greatest thing ever filmed. Lex confronts Zod and tells him he can give him the one thing he doesn't have, Superman. And all it'll cost him?
What do you want?
Australia.
From what I understand, the 80s is going to be very profitable for them. He takes them to Lois Lane, who says if she's ever in trouble, he'll always appear, and appear he does.
Come to me, son of Jor-El! Kneel before Zod!
Okay, seriously, there has to be a porn parody out there with that name. This whole fight is a ton of fun and gives you everything you want to see from this scenario, including some ambitious effects for 1980, and a whole lot of extras who think this is a wrestling promo.
Come on, Superman, kill him! Man, this is gonna be good.
They don't even try to move their kids when they're in danger. Yeah, just touch your cheek. No, this is real. Is there even a baby in there?
I've discovered his weakness. He cares.
I also love Zod being floored by the idea of anyone liking anyone else. I think it makes it clear that while these three work with each other, they probably don't like each other.
He actually cares for these Earth people.
Like pets?
I suppose so.
Like I was going to make you a non when I took over.
What?
What? No, aren't you aware? Superhero movies are fought under Pepsi signs now. Madam Web won the Cola Wars.
No! The people!
It looks like too many people are at risk, except this guy who I'm just assuming is tripping balls. So Superman takes the flight to his home, which Lex happens to know the location of.
Bow, yield, kneel. That kind of stuff closes out of town.
Why do you say this to me? When you know I will kill you for it.
I love the way he says that line. It's like when Stimpy pisses off Ren so much, he's actually a little happy about how much he's going to hurt him.
I'm so angry.
Eradicate the only man on Earth with...
Kill him!
Superman's address.
And for some reason said with a Spanish accent.
A sentimental replica of a planet long since vanished. No style at all.
Okay, I'll just say it. I'm very okay with this guy ruling Earth. Superman stops him with whatever the hell this damn thing is. Lois and I used that in an earlier scene. But it looks like they can do this now. Yeah, the powers are limited to just whatever they want in the moment, I think. Also, what is it with her and hitting dudes and their goodies? But everything stops when they threaten Lois.
Try to get them all into this molecule chamber.
I love this one scene when it goes from this intense fight to just keeping secrets at a party.
Turns them into ordinary human beings.
Hey, don't leave me out of the gossip. Inquiring Zods want to know.
Don't go in there, General. It's a trap.
And Luthor tells him that the pod will take away Soup's powers. I do like at first the red light is in the pod and now it's outside. Like, it's giving you a clue if you're paying attention. Obviously, it took away their powers and protected Superman, and they're all sent to the vague pit of death Elsa fell into in The Last Crusade. But Superman can't outwit his greatest enemy of all, the status quo.
I am selfish, and I'm jealous of the whole world.
Yeah, for some reason, the best Superman movies have the dumbest resolutions. Superman kisses Lois to make her forget everything that happened.
Dwayne, what's happening in the world?
Not only does this devolve the relationship, because now if they fall in love, you know he can just erase her memory if he wanted to go back, which is kind of creepy when you think about it. But as I've said in the past, he could literally stop a supervillain in their tracks by just kissing them and making them forget who they are.
Superman, allow me to explain my evil plot. Who the hell am I?
And don't lie, a really weird, messed up part of your brain, even if it was just for a second, thought of that too. And no Superman movie should be making you think that, even if it's just for a second. It does get better though when he goes back to get revenge on the guy who beat him up before.
Oh, I've been, working out.
I'm also Superman. Oh shit, now I'll have to kiss you. Wait, what? He brings a flag to the White House, which obviously is still stuck in time from the last time he spun the Earth around. And all is right with the world.
I won't let you down again.
Don't make promises you can't keep. And that was Superman 2. Not as good as the first, but still pretty great. There's a few awkward moments, and it's not as epic as its predecessor, but like the first one, the emotional storytelling allows you to look past all the flaws and enjoy both the campy and dramatic moments. It's a damn decent follow-up for what's almost a damn decent franchise. But sadly, only half of them are good, as the other two movies are quite bad. We've already covered one of them, and the other is ready to punish you.
This cake was flapping in the wind. He was flying.
No style at all.